Thank you, Amit, and very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for taking time out for this special virtual event. I can see we already have well over 200 people logged in. So thank you very much for joining again. And I hope you, your families, and your colleagues are keeping safe and healthy during these unprecedented times. In the past couple of months, the COVID-19 pandemic seems to have significantly disrupted business operations across industries. And with the ongoing lockdown in India, several operational processes like accessing, signing and sharing of critical business documents and contracts have also been impacted. And this virtual event essentially is going to focus on how you can empower your employees across multiple functions, across finance, legal, HR, sales and procurement, etc., to maintain business continuity with a simple standards-based signature management solution. But before I begin, I'm going to introduce you to our guests once again today. We have the pleasure of having Rohit Bhagade, who's our Chief Financial Officer for SAP Indian Subcontinent. We have Kalindi Mehta, who is the General Counsel and Corporate Secretary for SAP for the Indian Subcontinent. And of course, we have Wilson Oh, who is the Channels Director, Rest of Asia for DocuSign. He's based out of Singapore. So thank you all of you for joining us today. And before we get going, Rohit and Kalindi, I'd like to engage you in a brief conversation. And my first question would be, or rather, a request for a remark would be to have your perspective on how this entire pandemic and the lockdown over the past 2 months has really impacted your specific functions, and how have you been managing your day-to-day operations. So Rohit, maybe you may want to go first, and then I'll come back to you, Kalindi.
Sure. Thanks, Rahul. Good afternoon to everyone. Thanks for having me here. So from a finance perspective, number one, all our employees are enabled to work from home, and hence COVID-19 has not really disrupted our day-to-day operations. Second point is SAP has a very clear shared services strategy, and hence without COVID-19, we are kind of used to having our book closure done remotely, and there is no specific impact as far as our book closure is concerned, or as well as our announcing of results is concerned, etc., etc. So that way, no impact. We do see our employees spending at least 2 hours a day on road. Now with COVID-19, they are getting some savings as far as that time is concerned. However, in this remote working environment, it is very important for all the people managers to stay connected with the teams, and for the team members to also stay connected with each other. Virtual team meetings, fun hour, happy hour, and virtual learning sessions is becoming a norm, which is so very important for us to stay connected. From a impact perspective, or from focus area standpoint, I am looking at cash flow management, which has taken a central role. Under the normal situations, we would talk about managing P&L, but now we are talking about not just managing P&L, but also managing the balance sheet. So the focus definitely is on managing working capital. At the same time, we are focusing on doing a lot of scenario planning, financial modeling, prioritizing our investment decisions, and all that stuff. At the end of the day, I would say that it is all about adapting to the new working environment, which is what we are trying to do now.
Sure. Kalindi, your perspective on how the legal function has been impacted for you.
So Rahul, as Rohit mentioned, this is absolutely a changing time, and the new normal, as everybody is calling it, the current situation. I think for us, the good part is that everybody is very busy to not worry about what's happening outside, or what the world will look like once we get out of this situation. The normal business work has been absolutely going as usual. The teams are even more busy to work on the newer areas. So for example, when the pandemic did hit us, we immediately reached out to the insurers to make sure that our employees are covered for the COVID situation. We tried to modify a little bit on the leave policies to have additional leaves available to employees who may need it in the testing times, supporting on the newer GTMs and its evaluation. We had a lot of customer queries in terms of, the force majeure or, some of the more popular topics linked to the pandemic. So we were evaluating the customer contracts, going back to them with the responses with a lot of empathy and, consideration, but at the same time, keeping our business purposes in mind too. So that's what's going as the new normal for us and our teams.
Sure. Thank you for that perspective. And Rohit, I understand our finance organization has been using DocuSign signature management solution. So how has your experience been, and what benefits do you see ensuing from that? And especially for the benefit of the audience that we have today, I think it will be good to have your perspective on that. Rohit, I think we are having some audio issues. We are not able.
My bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Sure. So let me begin by saying that in spite of COVID-19, we were able to close contract with our customers, and DocuSign really helped us in terms of having a seamless contract execution. If you look at electronic signature management, it's an integral part of any transformation exercise for any organization, and especially finance organization. An increasing percentage of documentation is now going through the electronic signature process, and many companies, in fact, are measuring this as a digital transformation KPI. For example, in SAP, we have a target of percentage of contracts that are signed electronically with our customers, and we take it as a very serious KPI that we need to achieve. Now, from a benefits perspective, again, there are multiple benefits in terms of moving to e-signature management, right? The first one is multiple signatory scenarios. We do have scenarios wherein there are 2 signatories required. One is in Mumbai, one is in Bangalore. DocuSign really helps in terms of ensuring a really seamless contract execution there. The second one, the benefit that I see is increased speed of approvals and signature process. So literally a deal which is closed on the last day, we are able to execute the contract and book that particular deal as well, thanks to the agility that we see from a DocuSign perspective. And the third one is integration with ERP or any CRM application that we have. And in fact, in SAP, we see that integration panning out really well. So these are some of the benefits that we see on the ground when we are using DocuSign on a day-to-day basis.
Kalani, how about the legal department?
So Rahul, I must admit that, we would have not survived our, day-to-day routine transactions had we not been using DocuSign. So we know that, the IT industry is classified, and especially our industry where we are providing support to a lot of essential services like power, utility, the defense and so on and so forth. So we had to, issue certain letters to enable our employees as, they are the critical workforce. And we have executed all of these using DocuSign. And just to add to what Rohit mentioned, with respect to our contracts, the ease of contract administration is something which has reduced our human bandwidth. So, for example, if we had, signatories in various cities, we otherwise had a person whose only job was to, shuffle and courier documents from one place to other, bring it back, again scan it, send it to the second signatory, again send the fully executed copies to wherever the repository has to lie, and to other people who would require the copies of such executed documents. So with DocuSign, you have this feature where you can create the envelope and send it to all the signatories in one go. You can also add people who would like to receive copies for their day-to-day jobs. So that entire time of shuffling papers and scanning them and sending copies has been reduced. So personally, because this is something the legal team manages, we feel blessed to have reduced our bandwidth investment on such administrative method and to focus on areas where we really need to. So this ease of contract administration is something that I really, really love.
Yeah, thank you, Kalindi. And just coming back to you again, purely from a legal perspective, is DocuSign a valid electronic signature?
So yes, DocuSign is absolutely a valid electronic signature, and I think this dates back to the IT Act of 2000, when we had this new act, and it gave a footing to the electronic signature. So there are certain features which are described in the law that it has to be linked to a unique individual, a unique mail address, email address, and a unique IP. This needs to have a date and time stamp certificate which will be issued at the time of execution. And any changes that you make, either in the document, post signatory, or changes in the signature, will leave an audit trail and you can track those changes. So each of these criteria, which are laid in the Information Technology Act of 2000, is fulfilled by DocuSign. And like Rohit said, we use it at SAP, and we also know a lot of large companies who also use DocuSign. So this is absolutely valid, and the contracts are, admissible and good to be honored.
Sure. And Kalindi, do courts accept electronically signed documents, and are such documents accepted as evidence in the courts?
Yes. So the courts do accept DocuSign versions, and they are admissible as evidence. In fact, the Indian Evidence Act also refers to the validity of the electronic signature. The good part about DocuSign is that immediately when you sign the document, it gives you an entire audit trail of when was this envelope sent to you, when did you sign it, from which IP address was this executed. So you don't even need to prove that, right? That certificate itself will talk about the details, and the onus of proving it wrong, or the fraud is on the other side, because the document will never lie with the IP address and the details that it has.
Okay, Kalindi, the final question, it may sound amateurish, but why can't I just scan my signature and use it as a signature and use it in a process?
So Rahul, if you can scan your signature, I can scan it too. It's a simple way to address it, but there is a lot of misconception about electronic signature, and people assume that scanning a wet signature and pasting it on any blank document makes it a valid signature. That's actually not true. Like I mentioned, the Information Technology Act has prescribed criteria which makes a signature valid or not valid, and the scan signature absolutely does not meet any of those laid criteria. The second part is that there is a lot of risk in using the scan signature, because it can be misused more than it will be used. So we would absolutely not recommend that.
So thank you, Rohit and Kalindi. I think I'm done with my questions, but if you have any last minute thoughts or inputs that you want to provide, that will be great to have. Otherwise, we will move on to the business end of the webinar today, and I would like to invite Wilson O. To give us a detailed perspective on DocuSign as a product, its capabilities, and its various use cases. And I believe he has a short demo as well today lined up for us. And I believe he also has a few customers, examples of some customers across various use cases that he's going to talk about. So Wilson, all yours. And my apologies, sorry, I am Rohit and Kalindi. If you wish to add something before that, otherwise I'll move on.
Sure. Just one thing, Rahul, that I definitely would like to add is this is the time for us, especially in the finance organization, to also fix some of the broken processes. And I would say entire contract management area in terms of having manual signatures, wet signatures, and all that stuff. I think this is the time for every organization to be really agile and embrace electronic signatures. So I think my parting words would be there are definite benefits that you can really take care of if you really go this way.
Thank you. I think that's valuable insight, Rohit. Kalindi, anything from you?
No, I absolutely echo what Rohit said. So, this is the time to embrace and let's go for it.
Thank you both of you for kind of adding value to this whole webinar. And Wilson, all yours from here.
Okay, thanks, Rahul. Yeah, so in fact, I've prepared a case study, but seriously, I think nothing beat what Rohit and Kalinda share based on their personal experience of the benefit, how they've been using DocuSign. Yeah, so so just a quick introduction. So I'm taking care of the channel business for DocuSign for Southeast Asia. Hang on a minute. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I'm taking care of the channel business for DocuSign Asia, including India. So in fact, for the past few months, because of the city lockdown, right, we have helped many of our customers to accelerate their digital adoption. So later, I'm going to share with you how SAP Signature Management by DocuSign help our customer to digitize their various business processes. And also we will talk about what is the value and benefit that we bring to our customers. And I think just now Kalinda already briefly covered about India e-signature legality. I will just extract what some of the common use cases. And then I will do a demo so that you can visualize how DocuSign can easily help you to digitize your current contract process. And then we will end with a Q&A. Okay.
Sounds good, Wilson.
Yeah. Okay. So because of the restricted traveling, right? So like for the past few months, a lot of companies, they are not able to meet their customer face to face to handle all the business contract process. They are not able to meet their business stakeholder to get the approval sign off, the contract sign off. So that's why a lot of companies, they are looking of ways to digitize their business process. And this is where SAP Signature Management by DocuSign comes in to help our customers to digitize their various corporate function from the customer-facing processes like sales agreement. So depending on the industry, we have customer using us for like insurance policy. We have customer using us for like a loan agreement. Okay. They also use us for the HR processes, like you're still doing some hiring, where you need to get the new candidate to sign off the offer letter remotely. And another of common use cases recently is that you need to get your employee to do the health declaration. Some of them, they need their employee to sign off some of the changes in the employee benefit and employee claims, okay, for some of the new benefits to tie through this period. And of course, for your business operation, you still have your procurement process where you still need to handle all your sales, your procurement agreement, your purchase requisition processes by the procurement department. And obviously, the legal department still have tons of contracts, NDAs that they still to handle. But the challenge is today, a lot of companies still relying on a manual contract process. Where you still like generate your contract in Word, okay, you print it out, you courier it to your customers, or you email to your customers where they still have to print it out, sign, scan, and send it back to you. And then your finance department still have to do manual processing, extract the data, and then do manual data entry. And then you still have to file all these contracts on the cabinet, which take out a lot of real estate costs as well. And with the traditional manual contract process, there are a lot of high costs involved in your business operation. And on the average, our customers, they may be taking a few days, if not weeks, to handle contracts, right? If you are using a manual process. And you will have more than 50% productivity loss because you have a lot of human intervention in the process where you need to do manual data entry or the logistic costs in place. So on the average, based on the statistics, it costs about $36 per contracts to the company. Okay. So with SAP Signature Management by DocuSign, good thing is that you can straight away use the e-signature capability within some of your SAP platform that you have, like SuccessFactors for recruitment and onboarding. You can use it with SAP Ariba for your procurement contract. And you can also use it for your CX, where you're dealing with some of the document with your customers. And using DocuSign, you are not just limited to using it within SAP alone. Just like I mentioned, you can use it across all different business processes, where it could be triggered through other applications, like example, like Microsoft. So today we already have more than 300 ISP out there who has already built integration with DocuSign. So what is the benefit? Our customers, they can see that once they have adopted e-signature, more than 86% of their contracts can be done within single day, and more than 62% of the contracts can be done within an hour. So that is a huge saving comparing if they are handling this in days or if not weeks. The reason that you are able to handle, like shorten the contract process, because your customers, your stakeholders, they can easily access the contracts right now using their mobile phone or using their desktop or their notebook. Okay, and if you're using a mobile device, DocuSign will even improve the signing experience based on the mobile interface. Like as highlighted, it costs about like $36 per contract. So because once you have digitized, right, you can have a lot of savings from your logistic, your traveling costs, the time saving of your traveling costs, the time savings from your human intervention. You don't need people to do all the manual data entry. You don't need to. You can save on your real estate costs as well. Just to give you an example, McDonald's, they are one of our global customer. So one of their core business in fact is like the franchising business, right? So they used to have a franchising agreement which is like 300 over pages, and then they need to have a lot of racks and rooms to keep just all this franchising agreement. And right now they have like a digitized with DocuSign, and then they can have all this like a savings in it just on the real estate alone. And with DocuSign, we help you to execute your contract with higher compliance. Like just now we talk about, hey, what can you do? Like just scan an image. Obviously, to me, that is like forgery, right? But with DocuSign, you can have a fully audit trail, where we will generate a document called a certificate of completion with a unique transaction ID, and then with all the signer events, like just how Kalinda mentioned, like the name, the email, the IP address, as well as the timestamp. Later, I will show you during the actual demo of this document as well. And DocuSign, we are used by a lot of regulated industry as well. We are used by a lot of large banks, like JP Morgan, Citibank. We are also used by a lot of pharmaceutical, where they have very high security compliance. So we have the strongest industry security compliance standard, like the ISO, the PCI, the HIPAA, as well as DFR Part 11 that is usually required in the life science industry. Okay. So these are some of our customers globally. So you can see that we are used across all different verticals. So we have customers in our telco space, where you can see that we have T-Mobile, we have Deutsche Telekom. Like in India, we have this Tata Telecom, and we also have customer in the finance industry. So just like I mentioned, we have like a Bank of America, we have JP Morgan, we have Credit Suisse, some of these large banks. We even have like Nasdaq also using DocuSign as well. Okay, and we have a lot of high-tech company. Just an example, SAP is also using DocuSign globally, where they are using it by their legal department and also even with their customer-facing agreement right now. Yeah, so this is just one of the case study for AstraZeneca. They are one of the large pharmaceutical company. And so in the past, before they're using DocuSign, their contracts with their customers will take like a few days or sometimes even 1 to 2 weeks. So once they have adopted DocuSign, 85% of their contracts right now can process within a single day. And because of the whole mobile experience, today their customer can transact with them anytime, anywhere. And they have also improved their customer promoter score. Okay, And also because of the security compliance that we have, it's also improved their internal security compliance within the organization as well. Okay. So just now, Kalinda briefly talked about the India legality, but you can go to DocuSign website because you may have a business outside India. So DocuSign, we have published the legality status globally for many countries. So this is just an example for the legality status in India. So it will say that, like, in fact, since year 2000, India already accepted e-signature. And then these are the common use case where you can use e-signature, like in your HR processes. You can use it for your commercial agreement, like your sales agreement, your supplier agreement, your NDA. So I would say generally for B2B or B2C contract, normally you can use it, use electronic signature. In most countries where I see that where you cannot use e-signature, typically are in like a notary process, or sometimes it is like signing a will, or sometimes it's like handling a conveyancing process where you're transacting immovable property. But I would say generally for most commercial agreement, there will be no issue. Okay, so that's a quick introduction. So now I'm going in to show you how DocuSign, you can use it easily to digitize your contract process. Rahul, can you still see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so DocuSign, we do offer a free trial and test account, and it is free. So later on, if you want to test it out, you can do exactly what I'm showing you. In fact, there are 3 ways how you can use DocuSign. You can use it standalone. So this is what I'm doing the demo for you. And you can use it with pre-integrated integration, like for example, with SuccessFactors, Ariba, and many more. And the third way you can use it is through integration. Okay, so if you have a custom-built ERP system, if you have your own core banking, core insurance system, you can always integrate with DocuSign through API. So whatever I'm going to demo to you, there is also a corresponding API that you know that you can build similar integration with your application. Okay, so as a DocuSign account owner, right, once I log into my account, I can see there is a dashboard that I can see whether do I have any document I need to sign, like how many I'm waiting for people to sign, and how many have I completed. Okay, and if I want to send a document out, I just say send an envelope. Okay, for this demo, I'm doing a process of an NDA process where I'm interacting with my new customer. I want to establish a mutual NDA between 2 parties. So I can upload the NDA document from my notebook, or if I'm using any of the cloud drive, I'll be able to upload from the cloud drive, or I can use a template, okay, that I always use. Like I always deal a lot with my new customers, my new partners. So I already created a mutual NDA template that I always use, right? So once I have selected the template, the document will be uploaded, and it also helped me to populate the signing flow. So you can see that I want my customer or my partner to sign first, and then it will sign by my legal. So you can see that we have a concept called envelope, where we can upload multiple documents and then create a signing flow and routing to multiple parties. So you can upload as many documents as you require. Yeah, so let's say in the sales process, beside the NDA, I can also upload my sales agreement. I can also upload my, let's say, a survey form. Okay, I can have multiple documents. So there's no restriction. The only limitation is that each document cannot be more than 25 meg. Okay, so with this flow here, I already created that I want the customer to be the first signer, and then my legal is the second signer. Okay, but there will be use cases that you may not require sequential. Common requirement is like board resolution. So I need my 5 director to sign my board resolution, but I don't care who signs first. So I can just remove the signing order. So right now, all my director, they receive the board resolution in, concurrently. Okay, but for this demo purpose, we are creating a sequential flow. And you can see I also can add recipient on the fly also. So assuming today after the customer sign, after my legal sign, I also want to route to my legal admin to take a copy. So I can just add in one more person, which is my legal admin or my finance, and just to receive a copy without signing. So with this, you already created a simple workflow. Okay. And then we have a feature called bulk send. Yeah, this is also very important during a time like this. Just now I mentioned there's a use case that our customer, they need to send to all their employee, let's say a health declaration or employee benefit changes form. So you can capture all your employee name, email address, their department code, their designation into a Excel file, a CSV file, and then you can upload into this bulk list. And then DocuSign will be able to pick up your employee, the name and email, and then send the document to all your employee concurrently. So you don't have to do this process one by one. Okay, so this is the purpose of the bulk send. And as part of the process, you can also set reminder. So let's say after I send this document to my customer Ben, I can set an automatic reminder every day or every other day, so that you don't need to chase him yourself. You let the system do the job for you. Okay. Okay, so now the first step is what we have created an envelope where we have uploaded the document and we have created the signing flow. And then the next step is that we will digitize the document. Okay. In DocuSign term, we call it tagging. So basically, you can see that for DocuSign, we are not just about capturing signature. We can help you also to capture data that you need from your customer, right? So this is a blank NDA template. You can see there are a lot of empty fields. So I really pre-created that I want to capture the address, the signature, the name, as well as the date, right? So for this example, I also want to capture the customer, the company name. Basically, I can just drag and drop. Okay, so now my customer can key in the company name. Okay, but of course, if I as a template, I will have created this and save it as a template. So there are different fields that you can use. So beside the signature, you can have the text field. And if you have a forms like let's say for financial, right? Typically your account opening, some of the documents that if it is a form, normally you have your checkbox, you may have radio button. You can also ask for attachment, like for this case, right? After I ask my customer to sign off the NDA, I want him to also upload his company profile for a reference. So you can also ask for customer attachment. Okay. And if there are two party, right? So right now it's Ben and Wilson. You can see each of them have a like an individual color. So Ben can only sign the area that is tagged to him, and for my legal, which is myself, I can sign the area highlighted in blue. Okay. So right now, after we have done the tagging, right, we just click send. Okay. So now once we have sent the document out, you'll be able to check the status. Okay, this is very critical to the contract department, right? So once you send out hundreds and thousands of documents, you need to see where is this document right now, who is holding it right now. So from this dashboard, I can see that right now we are waiting for Ben to sign the document. So now, right now from Ben will receive an email from Mark to ask him to please DocuSign the mutual NDA. Okay. And you can change this to your company logo. You can change this to your corporate color branding easily just by a few clicks. And you can also include any message you want to tell your customer. Okay, like we established this new partnership. Please help to sign off this mutual NDA. Okay. And so for Ben, he will just need to click this review document. And then he will be able to see the document. For certain regulated industry, especially in the banks, right? Sometimes they will require two-factor authentication. So in fact, at this stage, right, we are able to set in something that we can send a one-time password to Ben's mobile phone. So once he receives the code, the passcode, one-time passcode, he key in the passcode, then he'll be able to see the document. But for this demo, we never set the 2FA, but that can be done. Like what Kalinda mentioned, there are few aspects that you need to have in order for the e-signature to be legally binding. So first is that, of course, you need to have the audit trail, you need to have the authentication, and we also need to capture the consent from the customer that he agreed to use electronic signature. So if there's any T&C or any data privacy clauses you want to add in for the interaction, you can also add those clauses in as well. Okay. And today, when I send to Ben, maybe he said that yeah, he doesn't have the authority to sign. He need to route it to his CEO, his director, his legal counsel. He can always click assign to someone else and key in his CEO name and email address. Then it will be routed to his CEO. And DocuSign will capture this as part of the audit trail. So now Ben will just click continue, and DocuSign will guide him step by step where he need to take action. Okay, so like for here, for example, I just take as SAP in India. So you can see here this is required field. So if Ben never fill up this field, he will not be able to proceed with the transaction. Okay, so this will remove a lot of rework. If like customer missing information, you need to go back to them to ask for the detail again. Okay, and then how you can sign the document. So there are three ways how you can sign the document. First, based on his name, DocuSign will create a signature specimen for him. So there are different fonts that you can choose, or you can draw if you are using a mobile device or a touchscreen device. Okay, and there is a third option here called upload. It's not shown, but there's a third option called upload. I can take a picture of my signature, then I upload. Okay, and so there's a common question that customer asks also. Today, if I use this select style done by DocuSign, and but the thing is, this is how I normally sign. Is there any difference between the two? Okay, in the court of law for e-signature, right? In fact, there's no difference. You can see here that by clicking signing, right? Once I clicking select adopt and sign, I agree that the signature in initial will be the electronic representation of my signature. So basically, once you have selected whichever way you want to sign and you click adopt and sign, you're already giving you your electronic consent to enter this contract using e-signature. Okay. So right now, assuming I'm just want to use my touchscreen to sign the mobile to sign the document, I just click adopt and sign, and DocuSign will capture the signature specimen here. Okay, and then I will just click finish. Okay, so now let me go back to the dashboard and refresh. Okay, so after we have refreshed the system, we will be able to see that Ben already signed the document. Okay. Okay, you can see that Ben already signed the document. So now from the dashboard, we will be able to know that right now the document is Wilson. So now for me, I will just go to my email. So same thing, I will receive an email from DocuSign. Okay, so same thing, it will ask me to please DocuSign mutual NDA. I will just click review review the document. Then same thing, right now I will be able to see the document and sign the document. Okay, and for myself, I'm already a DocuSign user. I do have a DocuSign account. So when I sign the document, I do not need to choose how I want to sign. Okay, I will just click sign, and then my signature specimen will appear in the document. Yeah, so this is pretty common if you are using it for your internal signer, where you will create an account, DocuSign account for your CEO, for your director, so that when they sign, they always can use a consistent signature specimen, right? So like for this case, when I click sign, my signature will appear. I don't have to select. Okay. So once I click finish, and I go back to my dashboard, okay, I can see that both parties have already signed the document. Okay. And then once the document is completed, all parties will receive email notifications that the document is completed, and then they'll be able to download the completed document. Okay. Okay, so now you can see that both parties already signed. And just now remember we mentioned that we mentioned that the proof of the transaction, right, for electronic signature is based on audit trail. So there are two areas. One is that you can see the history of the transaction. Okay. So you can see that, like, what time Mark created the document, what time it was sent to Ben, what time Ben opened, what time Ben viewed, what time Ben signed. We can even capture where Ben signed the document. Okay, so we integrated with the Google location service. Okay, and then what time it was sent to Wilson, same thing, what time he opened, what time he viewed the document and signed the document. And we can also download the document. So there are two documents that we will generate. One is the completed signed document. One is the certificate of completion. Okay. So once we download the document, so there are two documents. One is this the summary. So this summary, you can see that we call this a certificate of completion, where we captured the audit trail. There will be a unique transaction ID. It will say that how many pages is this document, how many signature we have captured, and then who has sent this document. Like, let's say if I'm from SAP, it will capture my name, my corporate email address, and then my IP address. And then it will have the signer event. So this is the Ben, his email address, his signature specimen, his IP address, and the timestamp. So if we had done the two-factor authentication by sending a one-time password to his mobile phone, here we will also capture the mobile phone number as part of the audit trail. Okay. Yeah, so this document is typically what our customer will keep the signed document together. Okay. And then for the signed document, same thing. You can see that it comes with a corresponding envelope ID. Okay, it will also capture the detail. So all these are data field that you are able to extract through export the data. And then after you export the data, you can either pull this data back to your system through API, or you can also manually export it as a CSV file. Okay. And within the platform, you can see that there are other functions. So you can create template, like what I did. I was like, I have a different template, like NDA. I have a recruitment template, all those stuff. So you can create different template. And you can also create report. So if you are using it for your legal department, you can create like a 5 account for your 5 legal counsel. And then you are able to track what is the usage, how many envelope they have sent out. So you can generate a summary report, and then you can send the reports to the administrator or to yourself on a regular basis. You can send it to yourself every week or every month. It's up to you to do the scheduling. Okay. Okay, so this concludes the very high level demo. Yep. So Rahul, hand over to you.
Yep. So I thought there are actually several audience questions, and I thought we will try and address a few of them as we can, but I can assure everybody who's asked a question, we will obviously respond later as well, because there are far too many of them. And one of the common questions that I see across is around the licensing policy for DocuSign. Many people are asking what is the licensing model? So maybe you could address that, and a couple more, and I can see there are a couple that maybe Kalindi can address as well, given that we still have some time. But first, if you